Hello and welcome to Got Clutter, Get Organized, the conversation. I am so excited because returning is Dr. Laura Purdy, and we're going to be talking about the holidays, but specifically health and wellness. Because as I was discussing with Dr. Laura, it's like, what happens? The holidays come and then we just forget about all the things that we were doing the early part of the year to stay healthy and well. So, Dr. Laura, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, it's an honor to be back, and I agree with you. We should talk about the holidays. They're coming, aren't they?
Yes,
So
they are. Yes,
we
they
might as
are.
well talk about them.
So before we get to that, I just want to ask you, like, in regards to health and wellness, was this something that you always wanted to do, like from a child, or is it something later in life you decided to focus on?
When I was a kid, I really thought I was going to be a professional musician. I
Okay.
actually did. But, it turned into more of a hobby instead of a career. But I always liked science. I think I always had a desire to understand the truth about our bodies. There's a lot of myths, a lot of urban legends, a lot of things that people say to other people that are maybe less than accurate. And so, even from a young age, like in high school, I wanted to understand the truth about our bodies, even though there can be multiple perspectives, right? But I wanted to
Mhm.
understand so that I could make sense of all of the clutter. I will say, let's clutter out there as it pertains to conventional wisdom, which may or may not actually be helpful.
And you're right. It is a lot of clutter out there when it comes to health and wellness. And you don't know, like, one day this is good, the next day it's not good. So you are so true. So, Dr. Laura, when it comes to the seasonal, like the holiday seasons, Thanksgiving, and all the holidays after it, what happens to us when we decide, we've been good all year long with our diets and our exercise, but somehow when it gets closer and closer to that holiday, and then that day is here, it's like everything that we've been doing just kind of just goes out the window. Why?
It does, doesn't it? Well,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a few reasons. So, number one, actually, I think you kind of alluded to it a little bit because you use the phrase we hear a lot, which is we've been good, right? And so, for some people, there is a sense of maybe like I've earned it or I deserve it. And you know what? I'd actually agree with that. It's hard to live an overly restrictive lifestyle, especially if you're being very restrictive on your calories and your intake and you're regimented with your exercise, right? There's nothing wrong with allowing yourself a hard-earned break. But then secondarily, I think you can go a little too far in the direction of maybe losing your discipline or routine, getting out of your routine, having an indulgent moment here or there, especially if your mom's cooking. If you're me, it's because my mom's cooking. But indulging is different than unlearning good habit and getting back into old habit. And I do think that, so that's maybe my number two. There can be
Okay.
a subset of people who might kind of fall back, or maybe we could say relapse, even might be a good
Okay.
word to
Okay.
use, where they're unlearning those good habits and relearning those negative habits. And then I think the third kind of subset of people, there's a lot of stress. The holidays are stressful. And when you think about travel and end of year budgets and holiday shopping and hosting and attending and weather and snow and kids out of school, if that applies to you, it's a lot. And for a lot of people, the first thing to go when you have stress is your self care, whether that's exercise, sleep, or food, right? Hygiene, maybe you let it slip. And so I would say those might be three really big reasons why we'll use the term again, it gets a little cluttered during the holiday season.
So, how can we, I guess, continue to enjoy the holidays? Because I go to my best friend's house and she cooks these fabulous meals for her and her family. And of course, I can't resist because she's such a good cook. But how can we stay on track? Because one of the things I would love to do, but I feel like it might be hard for me to implement, is maybe an after dinner walk. Can we walk after dinner?
Sure.
And I think I'm just going to have to say, can we walk after dinner? But how do we maintain our routine and our habits but still enjoy the holidays?
Well, mindfulness, but you again, you kind of teased the answer for me just a little bit. Mindfulness and being
Okay.
intentional. I think the worst thing to do is to ignore it and try to say, "Oh no, it'll be fine." What is I heard a statistic one time that the average person gains what like 5 to 7 pounds during the holiday season. And if that's a statistic, that means that there are people that are more than that and there are
Mhm.
people that are less than that, but it is a relatively universal reality. So let's accept it and say, okay, we acknowledge that this is a time when wellness tends to suffer. So proactively, aside from avoiding eating your friend's amazing food, because how is that ever the answer? How can we be intentional? And maybe it is, hey, everybody, we're going to try to fit in 2 hours of walking over the course of the weekend. When do we have time to do it? Or let's have a step contest and see who does the most. I don't know, I'm just making things up right now. But you can make it fun, you can make it intentional. And also, there are a lot of group activities these days that you can go and get exercise but still be together. Like shopping is a thing again, right? Like people are starting to shop again, which can be fun. If you think about like ice skating or those types of like Christmas villages or festivals or parades, all that stuff is active. You're up and you're out and you're doing, as opposed to sitting and eating. and but you can plan that out, right? Like you can say, I know this is happening. I anticipate this is coming, and let's do this as a team so that we can all eat your friend's cooking.
And I like that. I really like that. And I am going to initiate that specifically. See who can get as many steps in. Because everybody's got, the phones and we can all check each other. We can be on a group. But I also like the walking. I like the way you said over the weekend. Because I think
Sure.
sometimes we can put so much on ourselves, like, well, we have to walk after dinner and this, that, and the other. But over the weekend, because then when you were saying it, I was like, yeah, because there's a little shop near her that I would like to go to, and it's not that far, so we could possibly just walk, just the two of us, have a nice little conversation. So I like that. But also about being intentional, Dr. Laura, because one year I thought I could go to a cookie baking and cookie eating event on the same day. Well, I had a sugar high
I bet you did.
eating the cookies and I'm baking, and then a friend had her whole dining room table of nothing but treats. And basically, she has all these cute little decorative boxes, and you can put in what you want to take from home. And of course, yes, I took some home, but then also had so. But I like all of your ideas. So now I know I can't do those two events on the same day. They have to be different weekends just to give myself. But I like what you said, and also I'm learning. I'm learning. I don't necessarily have to say no, but I can enjoy the food, but just make sure I continue on my regular routine and schedule. So see everybody, it's we can do this. We can this can
You
be the
can do
holiday.
it.
This can be the holiday where we can do. We can still enjoy, but we can still maintain our health. So as you were talking, one of the things I was thinking, like, what do you like enjoy for the holidays? Because you already said, your mom's cooking, but what are some other things that you really enjoy about this season?
So I love festivities of any
Hmm.
kind. I'll start looking in like October at just all the things I just said. Like, where's the festivals? Where's the parades? Where's the ice sculptures? I don't know if you've ever been to like a
Oh
Gaylord
yes,
hotel when
oh
they
yes,
do
I
the ice
have.
sculptures and like the lights and the plays and the orchestras and the musicals. I love just the festive environment. I love it. The music, you name it. So I really tried to, but I do love the food as well. Not only does my mom cook, I also love to cook. So, hosting is fun, but you can overdo it. You can
Mhm.
overdo it on all of those things. So what I usually do is I plan out the Christmas season in like a 6 week block and look and say like, okay, when is Trans Siberian Orchestra in town? Check. When is the ballet? When's the ballet going to be? And so it that way it's less overwhelming and I can prioritize the things I want to do so that when people start to invite me to things, it's yes or no, but I still have things that I wanted to do in there also.
And I like the way you said, because you just answered the question I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you how you stay organized, because I know you're a mom, you've got children, and how do you just navigate all of that? But yeah, you said you plan a 6 weeks out, and I'm sure that just helps you, you know, do all the things you want to do, but not feel overwhelmed and just feeling like, okay, what's next? So thank you for sharing that strategy. So I hope all of you took some notes, and you can always listen to this again and also share it with somebody. So, Dr. Laura, how can people connect with you? Because I know you're doing some exciting things, and I can't wait to send you, tag you on a selfie of my group walking, or either just like how many steps
Do
in the
it.
cumulative.
Tell me. With your team out there hustling after Thanksgiving, just like
Yeah,
this. 10,000 steps all weekend.
yeah, yeah. That'll be good. That'll be good for us. I'm gonna, and the fact that a lot of them are in their 20s, the majority of the team is in their
Oh,
20s. Oh, I'm excited. I'm
good,
excited
good
because
walking buddies. But yeah, I mean, you guys can find me. So I'm on Instagram at Dr. Laura Purdy. That's Dr. Laura Purdy. I have a website as well. If you are more, we talk about festivities. So if you're more into the music scene, we just launched a telemedicine company for music festivals called JellyMed, which you can find at jellymed.health. And we have a clothing line there now, apparently. So we have a clothing line and we're going to be sponsoring some music festivals. So we're going to have some merchandise giveaways, and it all has to do with wellness, right? How to stay safe and fun when you're at events, when you're out with your friends, when you're attending a music festival. Safety first, always. So
oh,
thanks for having me. It's
that
wonderful to talk to
is
you.
that is so exciting, and it's always a joy to talk to you, and of course, continued success. And of course, all of you watching and listening know I will have all Dr. Purdy's, you know, uh, links to all of her social media, her website, in the description below. Well, Dr. Purdy, thank you so much for returning and being a guest. This has been wonderful, and again, I'm like, okay, we have to do this because Dr. Laura is expecting some, results here. So come on, team, let's do this.
I love that.
Thank you.
Bye.